What is it about the Holy Land that makes it so holy? Maybe there is a link between the ancient esoteric wisdom contained in the Kabbalah and land considered holy to the Jews, Muslims, and Christians alike. There are a few clues within both the Kabbalah and some old written descriptions concerning this matter. Is it possible that during the early development of the Kabbalah, a physical area of land was adopted to represent the Kabbalah's metaphysical components, incorporating Jerusalem and neighboring areas as the supernal triad or Godhead? Leading from Keter, the crown Sephirot, is one of the longest pathways between two energy centers. This pathway is known as Gimel, a Hebrew word which means camel. This path from the divine spirit of Keter to the sun Sephirot, Tiphereth, terminates in the middle of the Tree of Life. Could this be the true origins behind the name of the city Medina? Before the 20th century, the only practical way to travel from Jerusalem to Medina was by camel, across what was referred to as an abyss, an inhospitable and barren desert region which made for a long, arduous, sometimes dangerous journey between the two cities. I suspect it is more than just a coincidence that in Kabbalistic terms the area beneath the supernal triad is also known as the abyss. South of Medina is Mecca, an ancient trading city and the home of the Kaaba. When Muhammad took over the city with his victorious Muslim army, he threw out 360 idols from the Kaaba in favor of a meteorite which possibly fell to Earth from Venus as it changed orbit thousands of years ago. Before this, Muhammad circled the Kaaba 7 times. Was he paying homage to the 7 lower Sephirot before dedicating the Kaaba solely to the worship of Venus and the 7th Sephirot, Netzach, the Sephirot of victory? Continuing south, there is a city called Sana, a female name meaning to shine or glow. Could this represent Yesod, the Sephirot ruled by the moon? At the lowest point in the southwest corner of Arabia, we find the city of Aden, a Somalian word for Adam, who represents the earthly kingdom of Malkuth. Back in the supernal triad, the Sumero-Akkadian name for Jerusalem, Oru-Salim, means the foundation of the god Shalem. The name Israel is made up of a triad of its own, Isis, Ra, and El. Could this be a reference to the supernal triad within the Kabbalah? The pathway between the crown Sephirot, Keter, and Bina, the messianic Sephirot, is known as Beth. It is described as the first action in the creation process, the beginning of duality, where the creator initiates the created. Coincidentally, the place of birth for Jesus, the Messiah of the Piscean Age, was Bethlehem, only 9 kilometers south-southwest of Jerusalem. Is it the case that our Kabbalistic ancestors throughout the Middle East saw Israel and the Hejaz as the physical earthly expression of the tree of life, with the Red Sea separating themselves from Egypt, which they could have regarded as the physical manifestation of the tree of death. The fact that the name Suez is Zeus, Jupiter spelt backwards, could give some credence to this proposal. When revisiting the story of Exodus, where Moses parted the Red Sea to save the Israelites from the Egyptians, it could, in this context, be considered as a metaphorical explanation of a person's journey back up the tree of life after seemingly becoming trapped down among the cliffotic gods and demigods associated with the tree of death. The name Red Sea also has a metaphysical significance, which could represent a metaphorical crossing from one tree to another, a symbolic barrier. Red is the colour synonymous with seduction, the underworld, and objects moving away from one another, as in the Doppler shift effect. In this case, it is the creature moving further away from the creator. Is it the case that thousands of years ago, the demiurge and its demonic creations ruled parts of the ancient world, a world of megaliths, giants, and various godlike entities requiring human obedience, respect, and sacrifice? A pantheon of idols and gods who, through either a cosmic cataclysm or divine intervention, were washed away in a global catastrophe. Some artifacts and megalithic remnants of this once powerful civilization still remain, paying homage to the demiurge, gods who once walked amongst men, masters of an extremely advanced materialistic civilization. Once monotheism in all its forms evolved, using the knowledge of the Kabbalah, humanity found a way to escape the bondage and desolation found within the tree of death. By understanding their relationship to the Creator, through the use of the Kabbalah, they were able to free themselves by crossing the Red Sea and ascending up the tree of life towards a more righteous and optimistic path. If there is any credence to this idea, it means that the ancient knowledge of Kabbalism has been around for thousands of years, giving Muhammad his unique perspective on how to unify his people and promote them up the righteous tree of life, focusing on the Sephirot of victory. If the Holy Land and the Hijaz represent the tree of life and the path to spiritual enlightenment, then we can assume Egypt, the land west of the Red Sea, to be an area associated with the tree of death, its cliffots, and all those pathways which lead to the demiurge. Egypt in Arabic is Misr, meaning country with government, laws, and order. The Quran also refers to Egypt as Misr, the country with government. Mizraim is an old name for Egypt, and being the son of Ham and grandson of Noah, Mizraim's offspring led to the Hamite branch of Noah's descendants. The name Egypt also comes from the Greek Egyptus, which is the Greek way of pronouncing Hort Kap Ptah, a name which means temple of the soul of Ptah. According to some scholars, Ptah was the ancient Egyptian demiurge of Memphis, the god of both craftsmen and architects. In the Triad of Memphis, the old capital of Lower Egypt, Ptah was the husband of Sechemet and the father of Nephratom. This triad is similar to the supernal triad at the top of the Tree of Life, but this path leads to the rulers of the Tree of Death, down into the arms of the Demiurge via Satan and Moloch. The ancient Egyptians used the name Kemet as the name of their country. This translates as Black Country, with the people referring to themselves as Remech en Kemet, meaning people of the Black Country. Although Orthodox historians regard the term black as a reference to the colour of the soil on either side of the Nile, could it be that the true meaning behind Black Country is really a reference to the dark side of esoteric mysticism and the Tree of Death? Although Egyptian society lasted thousands of years, it eventually degenerated through the abuse of black magic, with the pharaohs becoming tyrannical over their subjects. Around 700 BC, when the city of Memphis became the administrative capital of a united Egypt, a text known as the Memphis creation myth was written. In this myth, it states that Ptah, who was regarded as the god of the earth, created 9 other deities, referred to as Ennead. This is quite astonishing when considering there are 10 Qliphoth within the Tree of Death. Consequently, it is possible that Ptah and his Ennead are the Egyptian equivalent of the 10 Qliphoth. Once the Israelites had crossed the Red Sea, they were made to wander the wastelands of the desert for 40 years, until those who had done evil things had died. In traditional Judaism, it was customary to only allow men over 40 to study the Kabbalah. The reason being is that in order to fully appreciate its esoteric wisdom, only the mature mind of the 40-year-old was capable of comprehending it.